Hey guys, welcome back to the Business Guy Show. Today we're going to be talking about budget versus client expectations, particularly what you should do when the client tells you all of a sudden that they're lowering the budget on a project. I have had the following situation happen to me way more times than I care to remember. We've been dealing with a client, we've gotten some kind of concept approved. For the sake of today, let's just say it's some kind of extravagant pizza party. We're getting ready to write the contract. Maybe we've even made some phone calls, starting to put some things in motion. And then all of a sudden I get a call from the client being like, oh, that budget, we're gonna have to lower it. Or even worse, they ask for a discount. Now, what are you supposed to do in a situation like this? I certainly wasn't prepared for it the first time I dealt with it. So what would you do? Would you go ahead with the concept that you had planned on, risking the overall quality, trying to execute it on that lower budget? Would you curse out the client and get all personal with them and be like, up yours, pal?
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Probably not a good idea, right? So today I'm gonna offer you guys my opinion on how to handle this situation with grace and professionalism and hopefully come out with, a win. The first thing you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to start the difficult conversation to change the client's expectations. Now, it can be very difficult to change the client's mind about, the kind of project that they're doing once they've got their mind set on something or once they really fell in love with the concept. But it really is your job as the project manager or whatever person who is dealing with the client to really explain to them the reality of the situation.
And reality is the situation.
First, a good idea is to make an appeal to your quality standards. You can share with the client your concern that now that the budget is lower, you are worried that trying to execute the same concept as when the budget was what it originally was is going to run the risk of bad quality. Things are going to go wrong, you're not going to get the right stuff, and it's going to end up being not what they want. Quality is a good place to argue from because it's something that everyone agrees should not be up for debate. Neither you nor the client want to produce bad quality. So once you have that variable out of the way, what does that leave left to negotiate on? The two remaining variables that I like to look at are the scope of the project and the concept itself. So how about offering to change the scope? Try to come up with a way to decrease the scope or amount of work that needs to be done or the amount of deliverables. What I mean by that is basically the overall size of the project. I mean, does the client really need to have Brad Pitt massaging their feet for 6 hours during the pizza party? I mean, isn't 1 hour enough? Can we reduce the scope a little bit? Do we really need to have, for all 10 of the tables at the party, a personal Brad Pitt for each table delivering the pizza? I mean, isn't one Brad Pitt enough? Or two, maybe? Can we get by on 2 Brad Pitts working the whole floor? This is what I mean by reducing scope. It's a way to stay within the new budget. But if changing the scope is off limits, how about offering to change the concept? Another way to preserve quality without sacrificing scope is to just go with a whole new idea altogether. Do we really need Brad Pitt serving the pizza at the party? What about Tim Allen? Or what about some kind of male stripper? I mean, that's still objectively good, right? I mean, who's gonna argue with that? And it's still a pizza party, so there's that. Or if, the budget has been reduced drastically, how about ditching the whole pizza party idea and doing like a milk and cookies party idea? Still good, right? The point is that you can still execute that new idea at a high quality, staying in the new budget. Either way, you're gonna have to get the client thinking creatively again about how to stay within their new budget, and you're gonna wanna keep the frame of the conversation on those 2 variables, scope of work and concept, because there's an elephant variable in the room. The last remaining variable that's usually in any budget, and I didn't mention it for good reason because it should never be up for negotiation, is your profit. If a client bucks the idea of changing the concept, changing the scope, but they still want the same quality of the original concept of the idea that you guys came up with on a lower budget,
That's impossible!
what they're basically telling you is They want you to do more work for less money.
If you could just get to that as soon as possible, that would be terrific, okay?
Why do I say more work? Because when you're working with a lower budget and you're trying to do all the things that you said you were gonna do when you had a higher budget, you are gonna end up doing more work because you have less resources. You're gonna have to do more yourself. If this is the case, which it sometimes is, and the client is really expecting you to go out of pocket or accept no profit or do anything ridiculous like that, which happens, guys, this really happens. I refer you to last week's video when we talked about BATNA. In short, you always have a better alternative to free work. And it is literally anything that you can think of doing. Spending time with your family, picking your nose, eating pizza, spending time with your family, eating pizza, and picking your nose. Anything is better than doing free work. Anything. Conclusion. Guys, Newton's fourth law of physics is if the budget changes, so does the final product. It is a law of physics. Every business person running a sustainable shop knows this. So that's why it's really important. I know I sound like a broken record. I always talk about money. I always talk about profit and protecting your profit. It's because it's a real issue in the business world. People are trying to get you to do free work all the time. People are trying to squeeze every last bit of value out of you all the time. You've got to learn to get creative, stand up, fight for what's right, and know when to walk away when you're not getting a good deal. That's it, guys. There's really not much more to say about it. So I think I gave you some really awesome things to think about today in terms of how to deal with that lower, the all of a sudden lower budget in your face moment, which, it blindsides a lot of people when they first get started. So I hope it doesn't blindside you, because now you know what you're supposed to do. Thank you guys for watching the Business Guy Show. Subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're watching this video on LinkedIn, consider sharing it on LinkedIn, because the content in the feed is, I think this is worth it. Okay? So I'll see you guys next time, and until then, good luck dealing with those lower budgets. Be tough with your clients. Good luck.